Hi everyone, this is your final project assignment before your final portfolio submission in week 6. Congratulations, just a few more steps to go and you are home free. This lecture, I want to concentrate on the formula needed for pricing merchandise. I want to show you how a buyer would price merchandise with a wholesale cost. So in the buying world, in the corporate buying office, it is the sole responsibility of the buyer to price merchandise. So when I was an assistant buyer for Ashley Stewart, it was my job to price our merchandise on the new shipments. Also, when I worked as a merchandising assistant for Simplicity Patterns, it was also my job to price merchandise. Now, some of you deal with retail prices on a store level. For example, if a merchandise falls off the store, off the shelf, becomes damaged, and let's say the customer still wants to purchase the merchandise, then you guys can do small pricing, small adjustments to pricing, giving the customer a small discount on that level. But when it comes to whole shipments of merchandise, it is the buyer's responsibility to price merchandise. Okay, so in pricing of your goods, you must, remember a few things. The retail price must cover the wholesale cost of the merchandise, and it also must cover the cost of operating the store, your expenses. Remember, we talked about expenses back in the week 2 lecture. Expenses are very important to running a business. It's your overhead, and your expenses could hinder you from making a profit. So you want to cushion yourself again by making sure your retail prices cover percentage of your operating expenses. Your retail price must also cover any possible reductions, such as the shortages or shrinkage. Shortage, shrinkage are interchangeable words used. And these are your thefts in the stores. These are your damages in the store. Remember, those must be accounted for. Even though you're not able to sell the merchandise because it got damaged, you still pay for the merchandise at wholesale. So you want to make sure your retail prices can cover anything like that. Also, too, employee discounts. Remember, you want to give your employees a discount to wear the clothing. Um, you know, it comes back to you in the form of free advertising. When your employees are out wearing your merchandise, and they're also promoting the store, so it's good to give your employees a discount. So the very most important thing to remember is that your retail prices must generate a fair return on profit. Okay, so the factors involved in retail pricing: remember your wholesale cost, that is how much you, the buyer, will pay at wholesale value of the merchandise. So I'm just going to use Marc Jacobs as an example. You go to his fashion show, you see pieces on the runway that you feel would make a good fit in your store that customers would respond well to. So you go to his showroom and you fill out a purchase order and you purchase goods. Well, they are going to give you the wholesale cost of those goods. So remember the wholesale cost when pricing merchandise. And then the retail price is going to be the final price that the customer will pay for your merchandise. Okay, the difference between the wholesale cost and the retail price will be your profit. That is the profit per garment. Profit per garment. So let's now look at the formula for pricing merchandise with the wholesale cost and a markup percent. So a lot of times, guys, the buyer will be given the markup percent by the higher ups, the bosses above the buyer. So she or he will already know what markup percent the company needs in order to be profitable. But again, if you are the owner of the business, you will be responsible for pricing and determining the markup that you need. Okay, so here's the formula. The formula is going to be the retail price is your wholesale cost divided by parentheses 100% minus your markup percent, close parentheses. Okay, so two things to remember when pricing merchandise. Remember, when using the formula, remember to start within the parentheses first. And then for your final dollar amount for your retail price, remember to round this number to 2 decimal spaces. We show dollar amounts to 2 decimal spaces. Okay? So let's look at this scenario. This is a beautiful pencil skirt that you feel will sell really well in your store. Okay, so your wholesale cost was quoted to you at $89.95. Your markup percent needed to be profitable is 62.5%. So you need to first figure out what is going to be your final retail price that will sell to customers, and what is going to be the total order amount if you decide to purchase 15 skirts for your store. So let's break this down and look at each step. So the first thing we need to do is determine our retail price. Remember, the formula is your cost divided by parentheses 100% minus your markup percent. So you're going to lay it out like this: $89.95 divided by 100% minus your 62.5% markup. So remember, always start within the parentheses first, your order of operations. So the next formula or breakdown of the formula is going to be $89.95 divided by 37.5%, which was the deduction of the 100% minus the 62.5%. So from this calculation, you're going to get a weird looking answer like this: 239.8666667. So what I want you to do is concentrate on the last 3 digits behind the decimal point, the 866, and that will help you determine what the final retail price will be. So guys, look at the 8 and the 6, and then the final 6, or the third number. If that number is below 5, then the final answer would be 86. Because this is a 6, remember, anything 5 and up, you're going to round to the next number. So your final retail price is going to be $239.87. The 86 is going to round to a 7 because the third number, a 6, is more than 5. So remember those rules. I think most of the updated calculators, if you set your setting to a 2 decimal space, it will automatically round for you, I do believe. Okay, so now we have our retail price. So guys, we are thinking about ordering 15 of these skirts for our store. So let's look at the total order. Okay, the formula for the total order is going to be your retail price, which we just calculated, times the quantity ordered. So we're going to lay out our formula like this: 239.87 times 15, which is the quantity ordered. You multiply. So the final total order on this skirt will be $3,598.05. So the final task you will need to complete once you get the total order on your merchandise is to now subtract this dollar amount from your open to buy. Remember, each time you place an order, each time you have an on order, you have to subtract that number from your open to buy retail value. Okay, because remember, this is a retail price of the skirt. So you need to subtract this from the retail open to buy in order to stay current on how much money you have available for your store. So this assignment, your week 5 assignment 2 project, you are now going to be responsible for pricing merchandise. So there's 4 markups given to you that you will use in this assignment: a 50% markup, a 55% markup, a 60% markup, and then a 65% markup. So guys, read the directions very carefully. Read, make notes, read the directions carefully, and if you have any questions about the assignment directions, please feel free to post a question in the questions for the professor discussion, or you can email I prefer questions for the professor, or you can meet me in the virtual classroom 1 hour a week, and we can do like a live chat session. So as usual, I look forward to seeing your final work, and best of luck.